The world ended. Didn't you get the memo?
What do you suggest?
You're listening to Dead Air on 89.5 The Wave, KCFB Ferguson.
Think about something else. Puppies and kittens. Dead puppies and kittens.
That is right. You are listening to the one, the only Dead Air here on 89.5 The Wave. I'm your host, your friendly neighborhood DJ, JazzHandss, here to talk about last Sunday's amazingly character-driven episode of The Walking Dead titled Go-Getters. This episode was fantastic. Spoilers are abound, so you've been warned. Going to be spoiling a lot of what happened in the episode. And it's just me today, which we don't get a lot of opinion, but, you know, we get to hang out a while, just you and me. And we don't get to do that often. So this is going to be fun. Either way, like I was saying, spoilers, be ready. Here we go. But like I was saying, this episode was really, really heavy character-driven. And honestly, I think this was like my most anticipated episode in and of itself. I've been really wanting to see what's happened to Maggie, what has happened to Sasha. And now that we finally get to see that, it was nice. Honestly, it was nice because we knew that the characters were affected by Glenn and Abraham's death. That was a given. No doubt about it. But the two characters that were the most affected were Sasha and Maggie, and now we finally get to see how they're doing. And it was really nice. Maggie's a lot stronger than I thought she would be. I really thought she was going to go into the depression. I thought she was going to not. And I don't want to say this to sound bad, but I really thought she was going to kind of be useless at certain points, and I hate saying that. But I thought she was going to have to deal with the depression, deal with the baby, and she wasn't going to do what she did in the episode. And I'm really happy that she actually did what she did in the episode. Like I said, it was a very fantastic character-driven episode. Visually, it was nice to see Hilltop. They gave us some new, interesting stuff within Hilltop. I liked the fire that the Saviors put into the town, as well as the car and the Walker Horde. It was pretty action-packed. For what it needed to be, and this is one of those things where I was talking about it a while ago, and I've said this a million times over. I hate when The Walking Dead shoehorns in death scares and walker attacks when there doesn't really need to be any at that point. The walker attack though on Hilltop made sense, and it didn't feel as shoehorned in that they had to get walkers. The walker with Enid, however, that was a little. That got on my nerves a little bit, very much, because it's one walker, Enid. Come on, yeah, move. But the walker attacks in this didn't feel as forced as they did with the Cell, which was with Daryl and Dwight. But like I said, character development wise, we got a lot of it, especially from the three main women in the group, Maggie, Sasha, and Enid, which was nice, as well as we got some character development from Jesus. And it's always nice to see Jesus jump back up on screen. With this episode, we fully get to see his whole character development, and he was fun. He was fun. I'm excited about that. And I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later, but no, Maggie, I think in this episode was amazing. It shows how really strong she is. Stronger than I think a lot of people hadn't anticipated. I mean, and I'm not saying that she was a weak character before, but I know I didn't think she would be as together as she is. Her and Sasha have been doing the morning, and I'm really surprised, honestly, how she has kept it together and how she's not going into this depression. And because I know in the comics, she tries to hang herself in the comics and tries to kill herself in the comics because she's super depressed because of her family extinction. I know that's a bad word to say, but and so I'm really glad that we're not getting this depressed Maggie that I see yet. It seems like she's going to be okay. It seems that with Sasha and Enid, and even Jesus and stuff, she's actually going to be okay, and I really, really like that, and I think we're going to get a lot of good stories coming up from her. I mean, and the fact that she took charge. She took charge when honestly nobody else did. And there was a moment when Jesus and Sasha were talking. And Jesus said, well, I've never really pictured this place without Gregory, but now I can. And Maggie was kind of like, well, what do you mean? And I love the look that Jesus and Sasha had, because they're like, we know what's going on. You're going to be the leader of this place. And I really think she's going to become a lot stronger character. And I don't want to say it was for the best, but possibly the loss of Glenn could drive her character forward into becoming a really fantastic leader. Because she knows what loss is, she knows what hard work is, she's not afraid to get her hands dirty. She is hot-headed. I think that they definitely explained that in the episode when we figured out about Maggie's poor ex-boyfriend whose truck got ran over. Either way, I feel that because essentially Maggie was the one that initiated the attack on the Saviors and told Gregory, yeah, we'll take care of the Saviors. We'll do this with the Saviors. We'll do that with the Saviors. We'll take care of them. Me and Rick will destroy them. She is essentially a little bit to blame with Glenn, but I feel that she's not dwelling on that and becoming depressed by it because, like I said, I'm glad that she's not being depressed. But she's kind of, I feel that she's going to learn from it, and she's going to realize that she can't be as hot-headed as some stuff, or as she has in the past, because that gets people killed. So we have a character who's lost a lot, lost somebody very, very dear to her because of herself, essentially. Herschel and Beth weren't really her fault. They were casualties in this world, yes, but it wasn't because of her. Glenn, you could almost say, was the direct result because of her. You could say it's her fault. So she's gone through this loss, but she's not letting that take over her. And I really feel that Enid and both Sasha are going to bring Maggie, kind of, not bring her back, but be the right and the left hand that she needs. Real quick too, I'm sorry this is kind of a divergent thought, but last week we were talking about the possibility of Daryl doing Morse code, Morse code to Rick and the gang. And it spread it like wildfire online, so awesome for my friend Kitty for totally getting that right. She called it like that night, but somebody actually translated it, what he was blinking, and essentially it said 6 miles from Hilltop. Now, this has me thinking. I'm gonna get back to Maggie, but this has me thinking. I'm wondering if Rick and Aaron say, oh yeah, we're going to head north, we're going to go look for some supplies, and Michonne's like, okay, you do what? But I'm wondering if they're going to possibly go and scout out Sanctuary, because Rick's not as defeated as we think he is. I think he's down, I think he's very, very scared, but I think he's also planning. I think if he goes and scouts out the area and looks around and tries to formulate a plan. Rick, for all we know, could be possibly playing the long-term plan. He wants everybody to think he's weak and broken because he's gonna hit back. He's gonna be the Thanksgiving clapback, and I think Rick's got a plan. But either way, that's just something I had to bring up. But now back to Maggie. She's gonna be okay, and I'm really excited to see where her character dives into next, because it's so fascinating. It's so fascinating. With Maggie, Sasha had fantastic character development, more so than I thought. Now, if you would have asked me a couple seasons ago if I liked Sasha, I would have said no. I liked her a little bit more than Beth. I hate Beth. I hated Beth. It's such a stupid arc and such a stupid death. But Sasha, I was always like, she's flip-flops back and forth. I kind of like her, and then I don't like her, like when she was laying on the bodies of the dead, and she just had to be around them, and was, I don't know, going through all this crap. That I hated her at that point. I was like, she's annoying. She's come around, especially with this episode. This episode really made me like her, and I kind of noticed, and I think what I said about her earlier is starting to come to fruition, where she's taken on some traits of Abraham that we haven't gotten before. and that is the way she's going to be coping in this world is since this death, since she's lost a couple boyfriends. She's gone through loss too. I mean, she's lost a lot of people. She's lost Tyrese. She's lost Bob. She's lost Abraham. Almost about the same amount as Maggie. 3 people. So these two characters are very, very similar in a lot of ways, but the way they're going to be handling stuff is a lot different. Maggie is very much more diplomatic now. She's not as gung-ho. Whereas Sasha is very much more gung-ho. Like, what's Gregory going to do? He's going to kick us out? No, he's not, because we'll kick his ass. Like, that's her mindset. And I feel that she's taken on a lot of the traits of Abraham, which is the way she's going to survive in this world, like I was saying, is she's focusing on the mission. She's focusing on the mission, and that mission was, I'm going to get Maggie to Hilltop. Okay, now we're at Hilltop. Now I'm going to get Maggie to stay at Hilltop. Okay, well, now we're staying at Hilltop. Now what's the mission? Let's go after Negan. I mean, we see the kind of reflection of Abraham in her in this episode quite a lot. With her, smoking his cigar and sharpening the knife. She's getting ready. She's getting ready for a fight, and that's essentially kind of what Abraham was like. She's living moment for moment, but she's focusing on this mission and what to do next and what to do next and what to do next, and that's how she's going to survive in this world. I'm also interested to see because Jesus handed Sasha a necklace that Abraham had, which I completely forgot about until he handed it to her. He handed her this necklace that he had that Rosita gave her. And you see Sasha kind of look at it and take it and kind of get quiet and everything like that. And I'm really actually excited to see those two characters come together. Because when it's in the moment, when she took him to Hilltop, and after the moment was done, we see them kind of coming together, and they help Abraham pick up, and they move him and everything like that. But I'm really kind of wanting to see the talk. And if Rosita's not stupid and doesn't get herself killed, we could possibly get a really good character arc from both of them coming together and moving past the Abraham death. But right now, this was definitely two characters that had Maggie and Sasha. This was definitely their episode and how they deal with the death. And honestly, I think Jesus said it, and like I've said a little bit prior, this episode's theme was self, and it was an amazing theme. I feel throughout the episode where they didn't have to have grave markers, or they didn't have to have this or that. And it's like how I said with Sasha, she's remembering Abraham by taking on some of his tropes. Smoking the cigar, sharpening the knife, focusing on the mission. That's how she's going to remember Abraham. And honestly, I think with Maggie, like I said, with the hot-headedness, she's hot-headed, but I think what's going to really resonate with her is her kindness. I think that's the one thing that Glenn left for her. And her kindness is going to be the one thing in this world that makes her a better leader than both Rick, Negan, definitely Negan, but Rick, Negan. I think her kindness is going to be the one thing that really pushes Hilltop above the top, because right now it's like, but I think with those two in charge, especially Maggie, we're going to get some very good character development. Very good character development coming out of them. Now, I got to talk about Jesus. Jesus in this episode, it was nice to actually get some development from him, other than he's a badass. Granted, it was more he's a badass. he got some pretty good character development with the fights. I mean, I guess that's not character development, but we got to see him fight off a horde of walkers in the most stylish and coolest way possible. It was a little excessive, mind you, but still. No, his character development was pretty cool. We got to see a little bit of why he doesn't want to lead Hilltop. But yeah, it was nice to see Jesus go to bat for Maggie and Sasha, and the fact that he is the ultimate ninja was very cool. And I'm really excited to see his character development go further. The fact that he's, without question, trailing Negan to find out where Sanctuary is, because I think he's as fed up with the Saviors as much as everybody else is. So I'm interested to see where his character goes. And, speaking of Saviors, Simon came back, which, one of my personal favorite Saviors. Steve Ogg does a fantastic job. Love him. He played Trevor Phillips in GTA. He's been in a couple small stuff, and I'm really, really hoping he stays. I believe that the Saviors know what Hilltop did, which is why they had the attack go. Possibly. I don't know. It's very interesting and it's very kind of weird, because you could say that they knew what Hilltop did with Alexandria. You could say that they know, and unless they say otherwise, for now it's speculation. But they could say that they know what Hilltop did, which is why they sent those walkers in. You could also say that it could have just been a power play. It could have been a power play that they did to keep them on their toes, to make them remember, hey, we're still in charge. So I don't know. It's very confusing. Me personally, I think he knows, but the only reason he hasn't killed Gregory for making the deal yet. He hasn't. It could be a couple of things. One, it could be Gregory. Say what you want about Gregory. He is a complete jerk. However, he has a silver tongue. The boy, the man can get his way out of almost any situation. So it could have very well been that maybe he saved him. I think, like I said, it could be very well a couple things. It could be, one, Gregory changed their mind. Two, it could be that Simon's like, hey, Hilltop's given us some pretty good stuff before. They provide quite a lot. Maybe not as much as the Kingdom. But they still are providers, and if we go in and just eliminate this group, well, then we're going to lose people. And one of the other things that I feel, too, could be he's leaving Gregory alone. He wants Gregory to stay in power, and so he's not going to kill him because he wants more stuff. Or they went in that first time, took half their stuff, because they know, okay, let's get the good stuff, let's get one more real good show out of them, and next time we show up, we're going to kill you because we know what you did with Hilltop. We gave you a chance to come clean. You didn't come clean, so we're going to take the stuff, we're going to get it away, and then we're going to just destroy everything else. We're going to take the last bit of stuff that's valuable, and then we're going to destroy everything else. I don't know. There's a lot of different speculations and theories that you could say for Hilltop. And why the Saviors didn't just outright confront them. But I to narrow it down, essentially, I believe that, yes, Hilltop, the Saviors do know, and they're either biding their time, or there's many different options that they could say why they didn't confront Gregory right out the bat. But predictions for next time, which I've been dying to get to. Tara. We got a clip of Tara washing up on shore, which, by the way, too, we are getting an episode next week. I believe we have 3 episodes left. We get the break on the 11th. So December 11th is when we take the break, and then it comes back in February. So we got at least 3 more episodes left, which totally sucks because it feels like we're just getting into it. We've been waiting so long to get back into Walking Dead, speculating who died, and now we only got 3 episodes left before the mid-season finale. Ugh. However, like I was saying with Tara, we see Tara washed up on a beach, and we see these girls find her. And so what I'm speculating to possibly happen is a couple things. One, we might get a hint. Granted, I've said this before. People have speculated it before. We might get a hint of the Whisperers, or at least another bad group that Tara and Heath, I don't know his name. He didn't make that big of an impression on me yet, but that Tara might have to go up against and fight. And so we might be getting a little foreshadowing for another group that will possibly be coming up after Negan's resolved, but that needs to be a while because Negan just got here and we still need to see the full... We need to enjoy Negan. We need to enjoy the bad guy, but I think it could be possible that we're getting introduced to another civilization out there. Because one of the things that Greg Nicotero, and the creators of Walking Dead, had said was that this season was realizing that the world's a lot bigger than we think. So we get Hilltop, we get Kingdom, we get Sanctuary, and we could possibly get another civilization, either on the coast or on an island or someplace like that. But we could be possibly getting another civilization that is either under the Savior's thumb or are just really nice people and are willing to help. Either way, I've talked quite a lot for just me. It was a fantastic episode. Loved it, and can't wait for next week's. But either way, thanks everybody. It's been a blast, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.